Hey guys, Professor Bell, Comic Book University, and Predator, Black, White, and Blood. There's also some green in this. Don't let it fool you, all right? False advertising. Just like in the beginning of this, where they give the Australian gold rush thing. Come here, independence, work for yourself. Not really. Like, it's all false advertising. I want to say I enjoyed this book. Unfortunately, the final story was in here also. There are three stories in this anthological story, this book. Yeah, I'm going to talk about all that good stuff. First, credit and blame where it belongs. So, Bloodwood Part 1 by Joe Kelly and art by Alvaro Lopez. The second story is Once and Future. It looks like this is standalone. It could go on forever. Lots of good ideas here. But the writer is Elliot Ravel, and Brian Lavelle is the artist, color artist, Lee Lowridge. I know Lee, I don't know him personally, but I know his work. And yeah, Lee lives up to all the hype in this. A Place of No Honor by Sarah Gailey and Fran Galen. Mm-hmm. The letters for the entire book is done by VC's Clayton Cowles, and yeah, let's move on from there. So, Blood was actually a good story. If I were to continue reading anything in here, it would be because of me being interested in part two. It's like I said, an Australian story. There's an interesting idea of God in here. It's funny. There are multiple versions of atheism, and then an almost infinite number of people who are actually theists, right? Or people who are even casually so. But the idea that, and of course, agnosticism too, but that's whatever. That would, in my opinion, that would still be classified as a part of theism. Anyway, so this particular idea of God versus the devil and the thoughts of the lead character in here, she has interesting thoughts, and I think that's probably the best part here. Joe Kelly has been around long enough. I'm sure there are many people out there who've read more Joe Kelly than I have, but to me, Joe Kelly's been around long enough that I can hear this and read this particular version of a thought and not think that it's his own and not think that he's being preachy. And that's one of the things I love about people who have been around for a long time. You have an understanding of their body of work, right? Uh, Good story. Like I said, I would actually be interested in reading a part two of this. Once and Future was a very interesting story. I kind of dug this. I like that it ended, even though it didn't have to end by any stretch. This is a 30-page book, so each story gets approximately 10 pages. Maybe it's that I didn't go around and count them all. I'm just looking and generalizing. Anyway, this could have gone on for another book. This could have been a part one, but I'm glad that it ended where it did because it gives you the sense of ooh and sparks your imagination, and that's what a short story can do or should do, right? But at the very least can do. How many great movies have we gotten from short stories? How many series have we gotten from short stories, right? How many short stories have turned into much longer things? Just because there's so much you can expand upon with the sudden ending that we can easily expect from a short story. So I really like this one. I don't want to give too many spoilers for it. I would like you to read it. Would I suggest you buy this book, however? No. In my opinion, do not buy this book. There's a reason why Marvel stopped sending me stuff because I say controversial things like this. This next story, uh, A Place of No Honor by Sarah Gailey and artist Fran Galen, really breaks my heart to see something like this. We're all allowed to have different opinions, we're all allowed to have different thoughts on things. You know how people say don't judge a movie that you haven't seen? Yeah. Um, I don't know a whole lot about Sarah Gailey. I only know that she's the only person who I actually decided to look up in this particular regard. She identifies as non binary from something that I saw on here that's cute. She shows no respect to people. I will show her no respect. I have no interest in that. She she's pointing out what people who've never been to a trade show, who've never been to a sporting event, um, a sporting show and things like that, what they call a gun show. I've been to gun shows in America and here in Canada. Mind you, I'm a 6 year U.S. Army infantry veteran. All right? Seen some things. In 6 years, I have seen some things. And I'm also a martial artist. All right? I have 3 black belts. One of them is third degree. Also, pretty darn good in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, though not a black belt. And also good enough to teach in judo while not actually being a black belt there either. Um, yeah, I tend to get around. I'm also a 6'5", 286.4 pound man. All right. I'm a big guy. I do not go around hurting people. I do not go around insulting people. A lot of times I'll break off a conversation, smile, and walk away if I feel the conversation is getting too demeaning, right? There's just no point in that. I'm one of those people who actually believes I don't have to be right. I don't have to win an argument. I'm still going to believe what I believe. I can listen to what you've got to say, and if you sound reasonable, I'll listen to it. And if you're incapable of doing that, okay, then I don't have to extend this conversation. We're judging each other as we go, or the other person is just judging you based on one word that you say. Republican, Democrat, liberal, conservative, or all sorts of other different things like that, right? We're just judging people based on a single word. We need boxes for people and people in boxes. Those kinds of people always break my heart. And Sarah is 100% one of those people. I've taken a quick look at some of her body of work because of this story. I've been to gun shows in America and Canada. And my friend, I can tell you, these are some of the best family events you could possibly imagine. I love these shows. All right? They are not people pulling out the biggest things, but oh, here's the BFG. You could kill somebody 1 billion miles away. Look, you see Venus up there? Watch, boom, no more Venus. Yeah, that's not what happens, right? Nothing like that happens. Anybody like that would be laughed out of the place in a heartbeat, and they'd probably be banned also. That's just the way it happens. But there's great things to go and learn archery. You don't have to, and if you're a PETA activist or something like that, cute. You know what I'm saying? Cute. But you can learn archery just for archery practice, just like I can learn. Why did I mention I'm a martial artist? Because I don't go around 1-inch punching people left and right. You know what I'm saying? I just turned 50 yesterday. You know what I'm saying? I'm not at the top of my game anymore. But if you're good enough to put me on my back, I'm impressed. I am genuinely impressed by you because most people in this world cannot. All right? If I go to talk to people who are like MMA, UFC professionals, there I can actually feel truly humbled. As opposed to just being humble, I can actually be humbled in a place like that. You know what I'm saying? My coach is impressive as hell. You know what I'm saying? My boxing and my BJJ coach are both impressive as hell. My boxing coach, however, knows he's teaching me boxing. He cannot teach me how to fight because I can wipe the floor with him. And that guy's on YouTube, and he's been on the professional circuit on TV many times. It is what it is. He's also 2 years older than me, so it is what it is. But I mean, come on, guys. I'm pointing out that just because you learn something, like I know how to use guns, I can do the whole, blindfolding and take apart and put together an M16, right? A1 and A2. I'm way before the M3 and or the A3 and all that stuff, right? I don't own an AR-15 or whatever the nomenclature is nowadays, right? But I can still respect the idea that you want to go out and you want to do target practice. I come from places where in both America and here in Canada, there are areas where the population will actually depend on hunting to put food on their plate for their families. It's not about warmongering and stuff like that. All right. I go there and my kids and lots of other people's kids enjoy learning about survival and camping and how to start a fire and Boy Scouts programs and all sorts of things are there. And I swear to God, I have never once seen that guy that, one side tries to portray. They're evil and they're just, oh, yeah, Venus, you're going down. Like, that just doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. It simply doesn't. If you've seen that, like, have you also seen Bigfoot? I'm not insulting you. I'm saying these sort of things, I've never seen them before. I haven't been to every gun show, but I mean, come on, you know? Um, they're really great people. It's a family-friendly atmosphere. There is no bloodthirstiness there. Like, it just doesn't exist. It does not exist. And here Sarah is just showing yokels who are there. I want to just kill people. The last page on here. First off, there's a predator having an exposition the entire time. The predator is actually talking. Maybe there are other comic books where the predator is talking or, thinking to themselves and speaking clearly to people. Yeah. In this particular case, no. I don't remember ever seeing something like this before, and I think it's silly. I think it's very weak writing to have to write what the predator is thinking as opposed to us having to figure it out. But then again, it's also weak mentality to this person has clearly never been to a gun show, and I don't want to hear lies. Yes, I have. No, you have. I guarantee you've never been to one of these events before. I guarantee it, because no one could ever be to one of these things and have bad thoughts about it. Like, my wife is so liberal, and she loves these gun shows, as Sarah would go and put it. But this last page alone, spoiler for the last page, after the predator has just killed everybody at this gun show, he says, a place that is full of war, yet devoid of a single warrior. Really? A crowd desperate for blood, yet afraid to bleed. Cute. A field of kills, yet not a single trophy. This is a place of no honor. That's cute. That's cute. I will say, really great idea for this. I don't know that gamma rays would be used. Engineer here, electrical engineer. I don't know why gamma rays would be used for this device, but there's a biometrics device that's used in here called the bayonet, which can actually identify the height, weight, and position, and like not just location, but position, how the person's standing. In your general vicinity. I think that's a great idea. I would love the idea of having something like that. What an incredible tool that would be, It's not just the idea of saving soldiers' lives, but I mean, being former military, I know that mount training is one of the most terrifying things imaginable. No, not for me. But the idea that behind every door, there could be some bad guy holding a gun to a hostage's head. I mean, you encounter these things a lot more than the non-military public would like to think. I know, America, we're the worst place in the world. Please, I would be happy to take you to some of the places in peacetime that exist around this world that are far worse. And no, America didn't do that to them. They did it to themselves because that's their culture, that's their customs, that's their beliefs. And it's not of the general people, but rather the people in charge, because that's what we see. America isn't our politicians, just like in all these other countries also, with genuinely pretty wonderful people. Not always, but yeah. And yeah, it's nuanced. To read Sarah saying these horrible, terrible things, and yet having this great idea for a biometrics device where, imagine if you could set this up and know the hostages are on this side of the room, these people are the closest. The biometrics show that these people who are the closest to these people have weapons. And, oh, look, it looks like this matches perfectly the description of somebody who has killed multiple hostages before, or caused all sorts of terrorism or terrible things. Yeah, that would be pretty useful. I would know where I can throw my flashbang grenade or where to toss the smoke grenade. I would love to know, I think it would actually be better to walk in, gun akimbo, gun just, bring up my rifle, as opposed to going in and saying, freeze! And then some hostage gets killed. Because that happens. And it happens way too often. I think that Sarah Gailey is a very mentally confused little girl who is trying to write big boy stuff, but she has zero experience in this field. If any of us ever saw a bloodthirsty person in one of these places, he would be shunned immediately. He would be canceled, as some people like to put it, and we would probably try and have him banned from the place because we don't want our families around people like this, right? And the idea that an exhibitor would be quickly pointed out, nope, nope, you're blacklisted from these things. We don't want you in here because you've got this bloodthirsty idea, right? So it breaks my heart to see this confused little girl, Sarah, writing these stories, writing this particular story. It's badly written. It's horribly misunderstood. And again, if you have to have the predator talking and thinking, he only talks once in this. It only talks once in this. But thinking the whole time, it's from the predator's perspective and it's from his thoughts. It's really pathetic. And maybe that's not the best word of it, but it's like if Sarah has all these novels that are out, all these books that she's produced, and this is the best we're going to get, a predator who, like, we have to read the story and read what the predator is thinking. You clearly do not know how to write the predator. You clearly do not know how to write comics. You clearly do not know how to write. And your body of work is cute. That's awesome. But this is a terrible first read for somebody with a body of work like hers. This is not how you write a character. This is not how you write. It's just not. It's the lowest hanging fruit. And I don't think anybody's going to read this and say, this was brilliant writing. Even if you agree with what Sarah has to say in this, it's heartbreaking, to say the least. I would not recommend buying this comic just because it may be the idea of supporting horrible writing and terrible ideas like this where we demonize half of society. Guys, I love every single one of you, even the people who disagree with me, even the people who think, oh, if you disagree with me, then you're Satan incarnate. And meanwhile, they go around praising demons. I still love you. I still respect your humanity. I still respect that you are, in fact, a human being who deserves dignity. All right? And I'm not saying anything terrible about Sarah. I'm saying things about her writing style and her thoughts. And I want that to be clear. I do not think that she's an evil person. I think she's extremely confused. And I think that anybody who's going to demonize another human being, specifically half of the human population or greater, I think that there is something wrong up here. You get what I'm saying? So keep that in mind. And I hope that she actually goes and explores what the world really looks like and goes and visits one of these hunting and fishing events because they're really, really good. She could actually see the thermal imaging device where you can actually see how a predator sees because they're really cool. And if I did live closer to the woods and one of my kids were in danger or anybody was in danger of being lost in the woods, this would be a really good device to find lost children. It doesn't have to just be about Bloodsport. But imagine being able to think outside of your little box that you also put yourself in while you're trying to put other people in boxes. All right, talk to you guys later. Like the video, watch an ad. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.